Today there is one more property of multiplication that I want to introduce to you. This property is the associative property of multiplication. So this property states that the way in which numbers are grouped does not change their product, which also means that the order in which you multiply numbers does not change the answer. You may remember the associative property of addition for when we studied those properties. So this property stated something extremely similar. It said that if you had, for example, 4 plus 3 plus 2, you could add these numbers in any order and you would still get the same sum or answer. So I could go ahead and I could do 4 plus 3, and I'm going to use parentheses to show the group of numbers I'm adding first, plus 2, and end up with 7 plus 2 gives me 9, and I'd have 9. Or I could go ahead and do 4 plus 3 plus 2, okay? And then I have 4 plus 5, which still gives me 9. So this associative property of addition states that it doesn't matter what order I add the numbers in, I'm still going to get the same answer. Now to the associative property of multiplication. This property tells us that it does not matter what order we multiply the numbers in, we are still going to get the same answer. So for example, say I have 2 times 4 times 3, okay? I could go one root and I could multiply 2 times 4 together first because maybe that's easier for me. Maybe I think that's easier. So 2 times 4 gives me 8, and then I'm left with 8 times 3, which I know gives me 24. Okay? Say I think, though, that it would be easier to deal with 2 times 4 times 3 with multiplying the 4 times 3 first. I don't mind doing 12 times 2. So then I have 2 times 12. 8 times 3 and 2 times 12 give me the same answer. They both give me 24. So as you can see here, it didn't matter what order I multiplied the numbers in. And this goes for if I would have had 3 numbers, 2 numbers, no matter how I would have grouped them, I'd still get the same answer. So we're going to go ahead and try this problem. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and group these numbers. So let's see, 2 times 7 I know gives me 14, but I don't know how to do 14 times 4, so I'm not going to do that. But I do know that 2 times 4, I know that one, so I'm going to do 2 times 4, and then I'm going to multiply it by 7. I know that one. 2 times 4 gives me 8. 8 times 7 gives me 56. So I didn't want to approach it with 2 times 7, doing that first and having 14 times 4, because I don't know that answer. But I did know 2 times 4 gave me 8, and 8 times 7 is one of the multiplication facts that I have been studying. So I know I can do it that one. Okay, let's do one more where you've got all the numbers. So say you had 5 times 3 times 1. Go ahead and give that one a go. So there are many ways that I could approach this one. I see that times 1 there, so I feel like I'm safe to multiply whatever I want first, because I know that whatever it is, it's just to be times 1 if I do that. So I could go ahead and do 5 times 3 times 1. I can get 15 times 1, and any number times 1 is that number, thanks to the good old identity property. So I wouldn't even have to worry if that number ended up being 25 times something, because I already because it's being multiplied by 1, and I get 15. Okay, I could also have gone ahead and gone another route, and I could have done, let's go ahead and group that 5 times 1 and then multiply it by 3, getting that 1 out of the way, and then all I have left to deal with is 5 times 3, which still gives me 15. Okay, so what if you are presented with the situation of where there are some missing numbers? So say you have 2 times 5 times blank gives you 60. What might we do to go ahead and solve this problem? We're needing to figure out what goes here. So one thing we can do is we can definitely go ahead and start with this. We can go ahead and do 2 times 5 times, let's go ahead and throw a variable in there, times m gives me 60. So now I have 10 times m gives me 60. Well, I know that multiplication and division are inverse operations. So I know that I can use 60 divided by 10 to figure out m. 60 divided by 10 is 6, which means m equals 6, which means the number that goes here is 6. I can go ahead and check this. I can go ahead and then group these numbers, and I can do 2 times 5 times 6, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check it with a different combination. I'm going to do, let's see, 2 times 6 times 5, and I'm going to get 12 times 5. I know that 12 times 5 gives me 60, once again confirming what my answer is, and that 6 does belong there. One more problem we're going to look at is this one. So it says, Lucy's pet snake eats 2 mice twice a week. So how many mice will the snake eat in 6 weeks? So we've got our whole week, and so 2 mice times 2 times per week times 6 weeks. Okay. So 2 mice times 2 times per week times 6 weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and just group these two together. So my 2 times 2 times 6. I'm going to have those parentheses around that 2 times 2 and wind up with 4 times 6, which I know gives me 24. So how many mice will the snake eat in 6 weeks? We can say the snake will eat 24 mice in 6 weeks. There we go.